Capacity 45,200 crowd here. They've been here since 5 o'clock 2 hours ago, and they've been making this sort of noise almost constantly ever since then. The small Welsh contingent outnumbered by some 65-1, so all the noise, as you can hear, coming from the Danish supporters. Their team, as Alan Wilkins was saying, has to win tonight to stand any chance of qualifying for the European Championship final. A changed strip, of course, because the Danes play in those lighter red and darker red halves as Wales start this absolutely vital European Championship qualifying Group 6 match, attacking the goal to our right. And it looked as though Elkiar might get a little bit of a early break, but Pat Vanden Hauwe was back to cover for Wales. The nerve ends must be absolutely tingling in this atmosphere. It's quite stupendous. They've been here for 2 hours. They've been making a rip-roaring din ever since then, and Neddy Niedzwiecki will feel all the better for that early touch, as Phillips can only find Morten Olsen. A little bit slow to clear. Robbie James. Good run by James. Phillips is wide on the right. James is going all the way, evades Olsen. Bit desperate, that. And that's going out of play, which gives me a chance to bring in my colleague Peter Jackson for the first time. You can feel the atmosphere, Peter.
Yes, it really is special, and the early pattern already been set. We see John Sieverbeck has been given the unenviable job of marking Mark Hughes, and of course Ivan Nielsen looking after Ian Rush. So the outcome of those battles tonight will be very decisive.
Denmark in possession. They have to win to stay in with a chance. That's Heinze to Lerby. Back to the captain, Morten Olsen, 38 years old. He says if Denmark lose tonight, it'll be his last game. He'll retire from international football. And that's a good break by Freeman towards Elkiar. The header clear by Ratcliffe. Freeman's in there again. First corner of the match. How well will Wales weather the early Danish pressure that is bound to come? They've got everything to lose, the Danes. And Jesper Olsen back in the side, the Manchester United player. Headed clear by Robbie James. Only as far as Jensen. He's making the overlap. Comes back instead to Lerby. It's towards Preben Elkiar, the Italian League's top goal scorer. Speculative one. Brought the roars from the crowd. And as you were saying, Peter, Elkiar and Laudrup, the Italian connection, definitely two men to watch.
Indeed, Elkiar will be out to prove a point tonight, because he hasn't scored, would you believe, an international goal since his hat-trick against Uruguay in the World Cup, and that was nearly 18 months ago. But he is in outstanding form in Italy. 8 goals from 6 games, which is twice as many as Ian Rush has managed.
And Sepp Piontek, the Danish manager, was asked yesterday whether he thought Elkiar or Rush was the better player. He was non-committal, but he said that for Denmark, he preferred Elkiar. And he said that he was sure Mike England would prefer Ian Rush for Wales. Jacket, Jensen. Ratcliffe in with the telling tackle. And the Danish goalkeeper, Troels Rasmussen, winning his 25th cap this evening. Didn't play in Denmark's last game, which was a friendly in Hamburg against West Germany a fortnight ago. The Danes lost that 1-0. They've lost their last 3 games 1-0. They haven't scored in 3, they haven't won in 6, and they haven't scored more than 1 goal in any game. in their last 10 international appearances. So they're under pressure. They haven't been playing well recently. And they certainly didn't play well in this corresponding match in Cardiff 5 weeks ago when Wales beat Denmark 1-0. That goal by Mark Hughes, and thoroughly deserved to do so. Morten Olsen. Preben Elkjær. The Danes regain possession. Heinze. Jesper Olsen losing out to Peter Nicholas. And for the second time, neat touch play by Wales. Phillips. Rush. Back in the side after missing the game in Cardiff 5 weeks ago through injury. Heinze to Olsen. To Jensen. To Olsen again. The Danes playing composed football, trying to establish a dominance early on in this game as Lerby plays it through. That's cut out by Ratcliffe. Laudrup not making the most of that. Lerby, bad one. Robbie James. Olsen to Ivan Nielsen. One of 3 Nielsens in the squad, the only one in the starting lineup. The other 2, Kent and Klaus, as substitutes. Olsen. What a lovely flick. Elkjær was just offside. Just offside. The referee says this is all a waste of time. Elkjær is thoroughly dejected about that. Michael Laudrup is having a strong word with the Romanian linesman. A very close decision, but I think a correct one.
Yes, indeed. And Peter Nicholas already making a telling impact in midfield. We wondered before the game how Wales would approach it tactically. Here we see again. In fact, this neither has heard the whistle. Pat van den Houw does very well. Psychological point, gets the blockage in.
So Wales survive. 5 minutes played. No score. A draw would suit Wales quite nicely, thank you. Olsen. Jensen. Again, the challenge from Nicholas. Freeman losing out to him as well, but an illegal challenge by Nicholas, according to referee Inya. So it'll be a free kick to Denmark. Denmark, who reached the semi-finals of the European Championships in France in 1984, lost on penalties to Spain, and got to the World Cup finals for the first time last year. One of the world teams of the 80s. It's been argued that they're a little bit on the decline now, and if that's true, it could prove very much to the benefit of Wales. Nielsen. Mark Hughes just getting a foot on him there. Hughes being watched by Alex Ferguson tonight, the Manchester United manager. Bayern Munich also very interested in obtaining his services. Neil Slatter. That's too long for David Phillips. And cut out easily by John Sieverbeck. Jesper Olsen. Lerby to Heinze. To Olsen. Neat little crisscross patterns of play. This is the way the Danes intimidate opponents, by keeping possession, by building slowly, by not allowing the other team a sniff of the ball. But that's a bad one by Olsen. Van den Houw can do more than sniff that one. He's got time. But it's a little bit too intricate. Peter Nicholas losing out to Per Freeman. No foul, says the referee. Johan Inya from Romania. Eddie Niedzweski playing his first time for Wales in the starting lineup, although he has come on once as a substitute. Chance for Ian Rush. Ivan Nielsen was there decisively. Robbie James. And that's a late tackle by Peter Nicholas on Per Freeman. And referee Inya making clear from the start he's having no nonsense. There's been a little bit of a war of words between the two managers, as relayed from one to the other by the media. But really, it's all been blown out of all proportion. There were a couple of isolated incidents in Cardiff 5 weeks ago that Sepp Piontek didn't like. Otherwise, he was quite happy with the standard of the Welsh performance, very respectful of it. But those 2 incidents have been blown up out of all proportion a little bit. And they've been trading insults in the press. As Denmark take the kick to Jesper Olsen. Morten Olsen. Soren Lerby. Laudrup. That's a run for Freeman. a little too long for him. But Peter Jackson, it's the Danes who are establishing the early control of the ball.
Yes, and I think the last thing that the Danes want would be to drawn into any kind of scrap. I think it's no disrespect to Wales to say that in pure footballing technique they are superior. Wales are, after all, playing one of the very top sides in Europe. The home record is fairly formidable. Denmark lose in Copenhagen very rarely, and a lot of good teams have bitten the dust in recent years.
France, the USSR, East Germany, Austria and Hungary amongst them. It's 6 years since Denmark lost here in a match in a major international tournament, although they have lost 3 friendlies in that time. And Wales's recent away record over the same period in major championships, not an impressive one, although they did win in Glasgow against Scotland in the qualifying stages of the last World Cup. Morten Olsen. Soren Lerby to Rasmussen. And here's a chance for Ivan Nielsen to find Soren Lerby. Well cut out by Ratcliffe. Laudrup. Jesper Olsen's making a dangerous run, but he's offside. And although he'll get it into the net, the referee in no doubt that it won't count. Jesper Olsen was fully aware that it wasn't going to count. It's his first full game in Group 6 of the European Championships.
No doubt there that Olsen was offside, but immediately prior to that, Elkjær had made an excellent run and actually got behind Kevin Ratcliffe. And to get behind a player of Ratcliffe's pace is no mean achievement.
And even though it didn't count, the psychological advantage of opening up the Wales defence like that is bound to tell just a little bit as Wales come forward, but there's a foul there. And so much of this, Peter, is a psychological battle, isn't it? There's this enormous crowd making so much noise, and the nerve ends must be a bit frayed for Wales.
I think more than anything it is going to be a test of nerve. Wales haven't really confronted an atmosphere quite like this anywhere in Europe, and over the last few years they've been just about everywhere in Europe. This really is something that they've not experienced before.
John Jensen, that one's cut out nicely by Niels Slatter. Vanden Houw towards Mark Hughes. Nielsen always in control of that. Lerby. A speculative one towards Elkjær. Jan Heinze. Well cut out by David Phillips. Ian Rush. Little chance for Wales to come forward. Nicholas has got 3 men in support. That's one of them, Dave Phillips. But it's wasted. They need to make more of small openings and chances to retain possession than that. As Morten Olsen sets John Severbeck away. That's much too long for Per Freeman. And Clayton Blackmore, who had such a good game in Cardiff 5 weeks ago, plays it back to Nedvesky. Blackmore scored for Manchester United, first goal of the season, coming on as a substitute last Saturday at Sheffield Wednesday. Played a few games recently, started in a couple and played as substitute in a couple for United, but certainly not establishing a regular place in their first team in the First Division. Flick on by Rush towards Hughes. Might fall for Rush. Didn't quite. Lerby not controlling. Robbie James back in by Jacket, but Rush was coming from an offside position. And just a little gleam of an opening there for Wales. Morten Olsen. Soren Lerby. Winning his 63rd cap tonight. Morten Olsen, he's winning his 92nd. Jesper Olsen. That's not a bad one. Danger. Good save by Nedvesky from Laudrup. Laudrup whacks his foot against the post in dismay. A second corner for Denmark, but that will do Eddie Nedvesky's confidence an untold power of good.
A really marvellous save by Nedvesky, Terence, as you say. It's his first game, first full game. The last time he played was just for half an hour at a fairly meaningless match in Bergen. And here we can appreciate just how good a reflex save that was. Whoops, there she goes. He'll feel an awful lot better with that.
He certainly will, but Denmark still have possession from a free kick. They're making the early telling moves in this game, 12 minutes of which have gone, but no goals as yet. Morten Olsen. A lot of room for Jesper Olsen wide on the left if he looks for him. Goes halfway there and finds Heinze. That's a useful one. Laudrup's looking very dangerous. Well played by Slater. Laudrup was only half fit in Cardiff and only played the first half of the game. But he's looking much sharper. Laudrup of Juventus, a good teammate of Ian Rush these days, partly because he's one of the few people in Rush's environment in Turin who can speak English. This is John Severbeck, formerly of Manchester United, now with Saint-Étienne, to Morten Olsen. The prime mover all the time from the back for Denmark, to Jan Heinze. Jesper Olsen, to Lerby. Three-man, again well held by Nizveski. A little bit of a testing one by three-man, but very well held by Eddie Nizveski.
This is an ominous period for Wales. The Danes are getting through a little bit too easily for my liking. Yes, it's not looking too good at the moment, but then Wales were always going to have to prepare to weather this sort of storm.
I think we've lost the line. As Denmark come away again through John Severbeck to Lerby. Again Morten Olsen. Michael Laudrup. Good play by Laudrup. Again well held by Nizveski. He's certainly seeing plenty of action early on.
You can see it again. In fact, Michael Laudrup in the first 15 minutes of this game has done more than he did in the game at Cardiff last month. Again, Eddie making sure he's got his body behind it. Classical goalkeeping.
Ivan Nielsen. Elkjaer. To Laudrup. Jesper Olsen. To namesake Morten Olsen. Laudrup, good tackle by Robbie James. To Mark Hughes. Soren Lerby. That's a good ball to Jesper Olsen, putting Slater under pressure. Oh, Vanden Hauwe was a little bit casual with that. And John Jensen was in very quickly. Eddie Nizveski. Ivan Nielsen. Jesper Olsen. Robbie James to Ian Rush. All a little bit too intricate. And there's some space here now for John Jensen. And there's an offside again against Laudrup. Again, it was a very tight decision. Again, Laudrup hasn't heard the decision. And he's missed anyway. But some very, very tight offside decisions going Wales' way. And again, that seemed to be very much the correct one.
No doubt that he was offside, but of course the danger when you play an offside game is that you do tend to become susceptible to a bad decision.
So far, referee Jan of Timișoara in Romania hasn't made one. Kevin Ratcliffe, captain in Wales for the 21st time this evening. Again, the cries go up around the stadium. Kenny Jackett. Peter Nicholas. Ian Rush to Robbie James. Can't quite set himself up. Slater's there too. We understand you're having a few problems with the sound. We apologise for those. We're doing all we can to save it. Soren Lerby. And that was a little bit too far behind for John Jensen. So 17.5 minutes played of the first half. Wales still level. Mark Hughes brought back by the referee for a foul on Sieverbeck. John Sieverbeck, the first time in his 46 international appearances he's been asked to do a specific marking job, so it'll be something that's not particularly familiar to him. Ivan Nielsen, the man marking Rush, and there is Rush without Ivan Nielsen on that occasion. Kenny Jackett to Mark Hughes. Good one to Clayton Blackmore. Rush, Phillips and Hughes are in the middle. Powerful clearance by Ivan Nielsen. Per Freeman, was he brought down by Clayton Blackmore? The referee says he was. Perhaps a little bit of a late tackle.
Well, one can't help feeling that that was made to look an awful lot worse than it was. No doubt that Blackmore was late, but he wasn't that late. There had been a war of words before the game. Mike England had accused the Danes of behaving like actors trying to win Oscars. Well, make up your own mind.
I think he'd come well down the list on that example. Soren Lerby. That's towards Freeman. And towards Elkjaer. Vanden Hauwe heads it well away. And Blackmore completes it. Rush can't quite keep it in. And Ivan Nielsen, 41st cap tonight. It's a team riddled with experience, this Danish one. Morten Olsen's got 92 caps now. And quite a few of them in and around the 30-year-old mark. Mark Hughes, a lot younger than that. In a strong tussle with John Jensen, and Jensen dived spectacularly there. The referee says it was totally unjustified, and I completely agree with him. It was an absolutely farcical little bit of play acting there by John Jensen. That might possibly have been worth consideration for an Oscar. But the referee very wisely saying play on. Morten Olsen. Per Freeman. He played for the Danish team prior to the World Cup, got injured in a pre-World Cup match in Colombia last year, had to come home and only got back into the Danish international side a fortnight ago in West Germany as a substitute, and impressed the manager Sepp Piontek so much that he's kept him in the side tonight. This is Jesper Olsen. Jan Heinze. Bit sloppy. Peter Nicholas. Rush just with Hughes in support, and the close marking again from Ivan Nielsen, paying dividends for the Danes.
Again, Nicholas looking the most influential of the Welsh midfield players. He really is a player, I think, now of some stature. And clearly the move north of the border to Aberdeen has given him that bit more to his game.
Referee Johan Inge got the yellow card out for somebody. Reben Elkjaer is saying don't bother about this time wasting. It's all very confusing. Robbie James is complaining. Mark Hughes gets a yellow card. And he may have a little word with Mr. Jensen about that. But after 21 minutes play, it's still level. Wales getting much more back into the game. No foul on Rush by Ivan Nielsen, according to the referee. Morten Olsen plays on for Denmark. The centre circle for Jan Heinze. The long raking one cut out by Phillips, but could have done a little better than that. Jesper Olsen. He gives Denmark a new dimension on the left. A lot of extra width. Very tricky, cunning player, skillful player. Will they capitalise on that extra dimension that he provides? As Rush comes forward for Wales, Hughes has to delay the run. Slatter. Bad ball. And Elkjaer brushing off Vanden Hauwe. The referee says play on. Laudrup's making a lot of ground in the middle. Good tackle by Vanden Hauwe. Vanden Hauwe, and again he falls to the ground, does Preben Elkjaer, and this is quite ludicrous. There was a little bit of an off-the-ball incident in the build-up to that move, Peter, where Preben Elkjaer brushed off the challenge of Pat Vanden Hauwe, and then this results.
Before the game, there were suggestions that the Danes weren't happy with the referee, but clearly Comrade Inge is not going to be fooled by anyone. A bottle has been thrown on the pitch, and the referee is taking it off before he starts the game. Now, that's quite a serious thing in European football. It's come from the end behind the Welsh goal, and I certainly don't... there's a small knot of Welsh fans there. The last thing we would want to have here is to have this great occasion marred by any crowd trouble.
As Jesper Olsen gets it across. He was looking for Lerby, but he didn't find him, and Rush managed to get it clear. Some 700 or 800 Welsh supporters here. Been a sellout for weeks, this match. And quite a few people have come from Wales without a ticket, and I would imagine they're still outside, frustrated at not being able to get in, because this is a vitally important match, and it's attracting enormous attention in Denmark. More than half the Danish population of 5 million expected to watch it live on Danish television, and they're even moving the national news on the Danish television service, which is something they have never done before, so that the end of this match can be shown. Ivan Nielsen plays it back to the goalkeeper, Troels Rasmussen. Hasn't missed any of Denmark's 5 European Championship matches over the past 13 or 14 months. Morten Olsen. Again, the cheers come for the Danish players. It must be so uplifting. Ivan Nielsen a lot further forward than you might expect. Looks for Preben Elkjær. Again, Vanden Hauge showing up tremendously well in these early stages. He's not giving Elkjær an inch. Jesper Olsen. Elkjær. Olsen again. Elkjær. Laudrup's in the middle. He's got a lot of space for Laudrup. Didn't make the most of that. Again, Laudrup's clutching his head for some reason. But that was a golden opportunity for Denmark. I don't think Preben Elkjær realised how much time and how much space he had on the byline.
A clear chance, the best chance the Danes have had, really. Marvellous bit of skill by Elkjær. Terrific player. Cross to the far post, and Laudrup, well, I think he ought to have scored.
Edin Izveski was certainly struggling to get across. No fault of his, of course. A better header would have seen Wales fall behind. 25 minutes gone as it is, and they are all square at 0-0. Just to repeat what the situation is, if Wales draw, then barring a disaster, they will qualify, because they'd have to lose by at least 3 goals in their final match against Czechoslovakia in Prague on November the 11th. If Denmark win, of course, then it's all back in the melting pot. Wales would have to win in Prague, and if Wales win this evening, that is that. They are through to the European Championship finals in West Germany next summer. Peter Nicholas. It's certainly quite an open game so far. That's offside against Ian Rush. Wales, of course, in change strip this evening. Attacking the goal to our right, all yellow.
Sepp Piontek, you can see the anxiety on his face, because the longer this game goes without a Danish goal, the worse it's going to become for them, the better, of course, for Wales.
A real gentleman, Sepp Piontek, has been in this job for more than 8 years now, and he's got a distinguished record as Danish manager. But the pressure line's certainly beginning to tell over the past few months, as there's been a little bit more criticism of this Danish team as to whether they might be over the top. They're certainly fired with determination for this game. Soren Lerby, a regular in the great Danish team throughout the 80s. It's towards John Siverbeck. Morten Olsen. Wales won't worry too much about this sort of build-up. Olsen looking much sharper than he did in Cardiff 5 weeks ago, but he didn't then. Peter Nicholas found Robbie James. Rush couldn't quite control it. Very tight situation. It's a good ball towards Michael Laudrup. And Vanden Hauge concedes a 4th corner for Denmark. Michael Laudrup, very dangerous player. Jesper Olsen might take the quick one. Does to Elkjær. To Olsen again. Again a corner, this time off Dave Phillips. Well, of course, this is the sustained kind of pressure that Wales will have expected, and it won't be the only sort of pressure they're going to have to contend with over the next 50 minutes. Yes, but also not trying to find Preben Elkjær, but Robbie James was in first. Certainly these corners, they've had 5 of them in the opening 28 minutes. They hadn't bothered Edin Izveski at all. He's had a few shots and headers to deal with and has done so more than competently. Preben Elkjær. Again, it's very tight. Again, he wriggles around looking for space. And wins a corner off Neil Slatter. So the Danes re-establishing the domination as we approach the half-an-hour mark in this first half. But still no breakthrough. Wales holding them 0-0. And the corners so far not proving particularly dangerous. What can Jesper Olsen do with this one? Elkjær. Olsen again. Found the space. But there's no one there. John Jensen is. And that cannons off Blackmore. Plenty of time for Eddie Niedzwiecki. 28 years old, ever present in Chelsea's first team this season. He's waited a long time for this opportunity. Just one short substitute appearance in a friendly game in Norway a couple of years back. And this certainly the greatest night of his life in football terms. Morten Olsen, who's seen all this sort of thing before. This is 40th match as Danish captain this evening. Jesper Olsen. Soren Lerby playing deep as always. Wants to see what's going on in front of him. John Siverbæk. Half an hour gone. 0-0. Denmark-Wales, European Championship Group 6. That's a foul by Blackmore on Laudrup. Jensen stopped from taking it quickly. Lerby again spraying it across the field. It's as much as Heinze can do to keep it in. They lose possession, but Robbie James gives it back to them. Ivan Nielsen, 31 years old last week. Jan Heinze. Nielsen again. Morten Olsen moving forward from his libero role. Good interception by Robbie James, only as far as Siverbæk though. And that's towards Jensen. Got some space to work in here. Blackmore cuts it down. Back comes Jacket. Again, good saving by the Welsh defence. 31 minutes into the game. A third of it completed. And there's a slip by Siverbæk. Chance for Hughes to Rush. What can he do? Needs a good touch. Tackled by Ivan Nielsen. That's Wales' first corner of the match. Rush needed a slightly better first touch on that, but still managed to get the shot in, although Nielsen blocked it.
And the first example of how devastating the Rush-Hughes tandem can be. They've been fairly quiet so far, largely because they've become isolated with the Welsh midfield driven back, but that's an indication of why they're the best in Europe.
And one of the most widely publicised statistics of all, 10 games together Rush and Hughes have played for Wales, and Wales haven't lost any of those 10. Ken Jacket of Watford is the man who'll take the corner. Wales first. Towards Robbie James, headed clear by Soren Lerby. Jesper Olsen. Peter Nicholas. That was a hopeful one. Certainly not an expectant one. 45,200 people here. It's a cold, crisp evening. Marvellous atmosphere. Carnival atmosphere. A uniquely Danish atmosphere as John Siverbæk tries to set Denmark away again. Ivan Nielsen of PSV Eindhoven. It's too long. Laudrup complaining about it. That was a little bit short by Ratcliffe. Laudrup thought he smelled a little bit of a half chance there, but Eddie Niedzwiecki was equal to it. That's towards Rush. Ivan Nielsen's there first and was being fouled by Rush as well. Peter, how do you think this marking idea of Set Piontek has gone so far with Siverbæk on Hughes and Nielsen on Rush?
I think he'll be well satisfied with it because the pair between them have been restricted to one strike so far. We've seen before with Wales that Rush and Hughes have had to plough a pretty lone furrow. Both work extremely hard off the ball. They're going to have to do that again tonight. I would think the Danes are pleased. Wales are pleased too. Niedzwiecki particularly come through the first half hour with flying colours.
Troels Rasmussen. Jan Heinze. Two men. Immediately closed Heinze down then as he got the ball. Just a yard or two outside his penalty area. That shows how committed Wales are. Morten Olsen. Towards Elkiar. Blackmore cuts it out to Nicholas. To Jacket. That's a good ball towards Elkiar. Little chance. Blackmore. Good tackle by Clayton Blackmore. What a good save that was by Clayton Blackmore. Not a regular first division player with Manchester United, but he really does play his heart out for Wales, and in the last couple of games has been in quite remarkable form.
That really was a critical tackle. If he'd missed that, Elkiar was straight in on goal, and I think I would have backed him to score. Marvellous bit of play by Clayton Blackmore.
He certainly doesn't miss many, Preben Elkiar, although he hasn't scored for Denmark since the World Cup finals in Mexico. But he's got a quite phenomenal strike rate of 37 goals in 65 internationals for Denmark. Jacket gets it across towards David Phillips. Hughes back to goal, looking to create something. Phillips, that's towards Rush, but the whistle has gone. I think an offside perhaps against Mark Hughes. And one thing we've got to say, Eddie Nidveski we've been mentioning, Peter, but Wales in this quite intimidating atmosphere have not been intimidated.
Well, you can see Doug Livermore there, the coach, urging his players on, making sure that there's absolutely no lapse of concentration. No, Wales haven't been intimidated. It does tend to reinforce England's belief that his team now is mature enough to stand this sort of pressure and still qualify for the European finals. We shall see.
That's the reason that Mike England has given for so many narrow failures in the past. That's not a bad ball towards Kenny Jacket by Robbie James, towards Mark Hughes. As I was saying, Mike England was saying at a press conference yesterday that this is a much more mature Welsh side. They've been in this situation before. They know the pressure. They understand the problems that can happen. They're certainly better able to deal with it now than they have been at any stage in the past. He says this is the best Wales squad he's ever been associated with. And with 10 minutes to go to half-time, it's Denmark 0, Wales 0. Morten Olsen to Michael Laudrup, leaves it for Elkiar. It's so dangerous, but Wales coping with them at the moment. Peter Nicholas that was, who just hacked the ball anywhere. And John Siverbeck sticking with Mark Hughes with or without the ball, playing it back to Rasmussen. Morten Olsen to Ivan Nielsen. John Jensen, Soren Lerby. Not controlled by Jan Heinze. He's a bit strong, but an international player ought to be able to cope with a situation like that. David Phillips. Clearance by Siverbeck to Lerby. Heinze to Morten Olsen. Denmark keep possession. Nielsen. Freeman. That's not a bad tackle by Clayton Blackmore. Could set something up for Ian Rush. He's only got Mark Hughes in support on the far post. Policed by Lerby. It's back to Nicholas. Blackmore. Hughes calling for it again. Morten Olsen was there first. Jesper Olsen. The crowd goes very quiet when Wales have possession, but as you can hear, they warm up when the Danes do. Jan Heinze. Chance for Laudrup. Cannoned off Kevin Ratcliffe. And again Ratcliffe. Heinze towards Freeman. Solid play again by Peter Nicholas, winning his 51st cap tonight. And there was a foul by Freeman on Ian Rush then, 9 against 9. Going through a quiet spell. 7 or 8 minutes to half-time. Wales won't be disappointed with that.
Kevin Ratcliffe with the free kick. He really is in outstanding form at the moment, and if there's a better centre-back in Britain, well, he must be some player. Ratcliffe, a captain leading by example.
And taking the free kick. He's got 4 men on the edge of the penalty area. It's towards Robbie James. Got his head to it. Hacked clear by Heinze. Flick on by Elkiar towards Laudrup. Cut out by Van den Houw. He's had a good first half for Wales. They're caught offside. They were always going to be. A little bit too slow coming back. Wales, who arrived on Monday morning when the weather in Copenhagen was not wonderful, but it's cleared up since then. And they had a training session on Monday afternoon and again yesterday morning and this morning. in fine fettle. A couple of injury doubts. The reserve goalkeeper Tony Norman's got a bit of a shoulder problem, but other than that, in pretty good nick. Clayton Blackmore towards Mark Hughes, all on his own up front. Sieverbeck lets it run out. Morten Olsen. Heinze to Jesper Olsen. Morten Olsen again, playing his 41st international match here in front of the Idrætspark crowd in Copenhagen. Soren Lerby. Into the last 5 minutes of the first half. Wales can be well satisfied with their efforts so far. That little touch by Heinze, cut out by Van den Hauwe. No handball. Morten Olsen. Ivan Nielsen. Lerby playing very, very deep. Sieverbeck. Again, this huge crowd tries to get behind its team. But Wales pretty much in control of things as they stand. Phillips wasn't then. Heinze got possession towards Jesper Olsen. Important touch by Neil Slatter. Ratcliffe, Robbie James. Ian Rush, one touch towards Hughes. A little too far for him. Sieverbeck very close to his marker, doing a good job on Mark Hughes. Former Manchester United teammate, of course. John Sieverbeck and Mark Hughes played together at Old Trafford. Nicholas. Foul throw by Neil Slatter. Took it from the wrong position, in fact, and the referee has awarded it to Denmark.
It's a tribute to Wales that the roars are not quite as deafening as they used to be, and every member of the back four really playing exceptionally well, and more than once they've been very glad not just of Ratcliffe's pace, Terence, but also Pat Van den Hauwe.
I think these first 41 minutes have shown to the Danish crowd just what an obstacle they face here at the Idrætspark this evening. A very stern one Wales are providing as Laudrup finds Freeman. Cross comes over towards Elkjær. That's only as far as Heinze, and it cannoned off Slatter to safety, or at least to the relative safety of another Denmark corner. Just 3 minutes to go to half-time. Kevin Ratcliffe thinks it's a goal kick. The referee says, no, it's not, and you know it as well. But Jesper Olsen has to take up precious seconds reclaiming the ball. Plays it short. Freeman. Olsen again. Got to watch him every step of the way, this man. Does so well getting to the byline. It's Vesky, that's over before it can reach him. And a goal kick to Wales. But again, these little spurts of Danish pressure, not really testing the Welsh defence particularly.
No, at the risk of tempting Providence, one feels that Wales have weathered the worst storm about 10-15 minutes ago when they looked as though they might have been in some danger. They've recovered, regained their poise. We're now into the 42nd minute, all going well for Wales.
At Denmark 0, Wales 0. It's Vesky towards Rush. Again, Ivan Nielsen's there first. Van den Hauwe had a good first half. Just got the vital touch in when it was necessary. Robbie James looking for David Phillips. A little bit long, and Sieverbeck's coming across. Deserts Mark Hughes for once. Nice little touch too towards Jensen. But that's a foul by Peter Nicholas. Throws his head in the air in dismay when the referee's whistle goes.
Well, I did tend to have some sympathy with him in that particular case. It certainly looked a legitimate challenge to me.
Lerby all the way across to Freeman on the right. Morten Olsen. Michael Laudrup. Soren Lerby. Looked for the return from John Jensen, but it wasn't there. Throw into Denmark. 2 minutes of the first half remaining. Freeman. Another a throw this time. Thought it might just have gone over the byline for a corner, but it's a throw. This time it is a corner. They've won 8 corners now in this first half of Denmark to Wales' 1. Again, it'll be Jesper Olsen looking to take the quick one towards Laudrup. Kevin Ratcliffe was equal to it. Wales appealing for offside, but they were a bit slow coming out, and Vanden Hauwe was in a good position to tidy up. We're approaching the last minute of normal time in this first half as Niedzveski, who's had a very good, very competent, very sound first half, plays it through to Mark Hughes. No foul, says the referee, by Siverbeck, and Denmark come forward with Elkjær. Vanden Hauwe just lost it for a second. Jesper Olsen, little slow, just slipped as well. Dave Phillips can clear. Only as far though as Jan Heinze. Jesper Olsen, Heinze again. Oh dear me, Neil Slatter left that. Would have been much better gathering it. Vanden Hauwe cut the tidy up.
Utterly unnecessary there. Why David Phillips giving the ball away. Wales putting extra pressure on themselves unnecessarily.
Jesper Olsen towards Lerby. Elkjær, free man. It's bouncing so dangerously in that Welsh penalty area, but Phillips clears. Only as far as Olsen. Heinze. Lerby. Dying seconds of the first half. Morten Olsen. Danish pressure towards Elkjær. Niedzveski can gather safely. A few words between Pat Vanden Hauwe and Preben Elkjær. They've certainly got to know each other in this first half. We're at the end of normal time. And the referee, in fact, blows the half-time whistle. Or does he? No, he doesn't. There was a little bit of an off-the-ball incident there between Michael Laudrup and the Welsh goalkeeper, Eddie Niedzveski. I think Laudrup was impeding Niedzveski as he was trying to take the kick out. And referee Jan Molby of Romania awarded Wales the free kick, which Eddie Niedzveski will now take.
Andy Jones warming up on the touchline, but I can't see any imminent reason for his early arrival into this game.
It's a bit of a cold night. Perhaps he's just being encouraged to keep himself warm. I'm sure the Welsh substitutes will have a chance to limber up during the half-time whistle, which is pretty imminent now, I think, as Jesper Olsen comes forward. That's cut out by Kevin Ratcliffe. Well into injury time in this first half. And it's been a pretty useful first half for Wales. The referee looked at his watch there. There's nowhere near as much a volume of crowd as there was before the start of the match. Peter Jackson?
Excellent first half for Wales. Just that one moment of lapse of concentration when Laudrup might easily have scored at the far post. That apart, they've been in no real danger.
And that just about sums up that first half. It's Denmark 0. It'll be Denmark kicking off there. Red halves, Wales playing in a change strip of yellow, let me remind you, this evening, as the referee, Jan Molby of Timișoara, Romania, gets us underway once again. 45,200 people. There isn't a spare seat in the Idrætsparken Stadium here in Copenhagen, just a couple of miles from the city centre. Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen, so they say. If you're getting a little bit of interference on the quality of the sound that you're receiving from us, again, our apologies. We'll try to sort it out as quickly as possible. As Wales, in this second half, attack the goal to our left. Morten Olsen. And we hear that you're back with us loud and clear. Let's hope it stays that way for the next 45 minutes. Promises to be a bit frantic. It struck me towards the end of that first half that more and more the Danes were being policed by the Wales into not really knowing what to do next and how to break Wales down. Wales, a team now, I think it's fair to say, of truly international stature. They know what to do in situations like this. So far they've done it well. Pat Vanden Hauwe on the ball there has certainly been one of the key figures in the first 45 minutes, as was Eddie Niedzveski. And it's Jan Heinze is the man who's gone off for Denmark as they come forward. And Flemming Poulsen in the thick of the action. That's the substitute on for Heinze at the half-time stage. But a little bit too far for him, that was. And Eddie Niedzveski clears long for Wales towards Ian Rush. Ivan Nielsen. Per Freeman. Back to Soren Lerby. A little bit dangerous, that. But he found John Jensen in the end. Morten Olsen. Sieverbeck. Morten Olsen. Jesper Olsen showed some dangerous flashes in the first half. Jensen to Elkjær. Good covering again by Wales, but Jensen can this time find Michael Laudrup. Flicked off the head of Blackmore. Soren Lerby. No danger for Wales. There was an offside flag anyway against Kevin Elkjær, so the referees awarded a free kick to Wales. Soren Lerby. It was a speculative one. One man fell, the other man had a wallop, and it was high, wide and handsome. Hasn't scored in a home game for Denmark in Copenhagen for some 3 years, Soren Lerby, although he's got 10 international goals in his 61 caps. Jensen back to Rasmussen. Hasn't had a great deal to do, it must be said, Troels Rasmussen in the Danish goal. Morten Olsen. Soren Lerby. Jesper Olsen. There's a lot of space for Per Freeman wide on the right. Jacket tries to cut it out. Freeman looking quite sharp down the right. That's not a bad one either. Well saved by Niels Slatter. So the second half resuming a little bit in the way that the first half went. There were 9 corners to Denmark in that first half to 1 to Wales, and the Danes in the opening 4 minutes of the second half win the first as Fleming tries to get it across towards Ivan Nielsen. Again there's danger from Jesper Olsen this time. Good tackling by the Welsh defence. Vanden Hauwe bursting forward, and Rush had to check as Hughes tried to play the ball through him, through to him, because there was a danger of offside, and it all came to nothing. Rush and Sieverbeck. Morten Olsen. Hughes pressing, pushing, harrying. Morten Olsen. Per Freeman. No offside against the substitute Flemming Poulsen. Could be danger. It's not cleared, and it's in by Elkjær. What a disaster for Wales. 5 minutes into the second half, and really without looking dangerous up front, Denmark have taken the lead, and it's all fallen apart a little bit for Wales. The 45,000 crowd here at the Idrits Park going absolutely berserk with excitement. Flemming Poulsen getting the ball across. Almost cleared, not quite, and it was not good enough because Elkjær was right where it mattered to score his 38th goal for his country. The danger coming down the right. Blackmore was left for dead. Slatter tried to get it clear. Elkjær got the boot to it. Nothing Niedzwiecki could do about that. So Preben Elkjær puts Denmark into the lead 5 minutes into the second half. So we've got a completely different game on our hands now. Oh. The pressure much more on Wales now than it is on Denmark. Clayton Blackmore. Robbie James. Can Wales hit back straight away? Rush, all too involved. And Peter Jackson has rejoined me. Peter, that really was not what Wales wanted in the first 5 minutes of the second half.
No, all the things that Wales had been doing right prior to half-time went wrong. The sort of lapse that we all dreaded. And Elkjær choosing a very bad time to score his first international goal for some 18 months. A totally different game now. Wales, of course, have got to come out. A draw will still be an excellent result, but a defeat will leave them an awful lot to do in Prague.
It's the first goal Denmark have scored in 4 internationals. Wales certainly haven't conceded many in their recent matches. They've only conceded 2 in their previous 4 group games in the European Championship. So what can Wales do about this? Just 7 minutes into the second half, and a disaster. They've fallen 1-0 behind. What's happened now? Peter Nicholas, I think, was complaining to the referee about something, and Denmark have been awarded a free kick. In fact, Robbie James looks as though he might be booked.
An off-the-ball incident involving Peter Nicholas. A sign for the first time that Welsh discipline isn't all it should be. Robbie James, again unnecessary. Dissent, gets himself a yellow card. That's his second in 2 games. So he could be out of the game in Czechoslovakia. 2 yellow cards, 1 match ban.
Yes, it'll make him ineligible for that game. Jensen, certainly Wales don't want a second goal here, and there was no danger of it happening because Jensen's shot was not well targeted. John Jensen, not a regular in the Danish side, winning just his 8th cap tonight, just 22 years old, one of the few youngsters in the Danish team. And that goal set alight the Danes. Mike England not looking quite so happy about things as he was 7 minutes ago. Robbie James just been booked for the second time. Clayton Blackmore. There's certainly a spring in the Danish step now. Robbie James, too long for Rush.
Now we're going to see, Terence, how good this Welsh team is. Rasmussen still hasn't had a shot to save in the whole game. Wales have really got to come up a gear now against one of the best teams in Europe and get something out of this game, or else it might be another story of another near miss.
Bad ball by Elkiar, that only finds Nedvesky. Dave Phillips still running for it. Ivan Nielsen has plenty of time. Plays it well to Jensen. The Danes cheering every move by their team as the goal scorer Preben Elkiar tries to set up another attack. Per Freeman to Soren Lerby. Flemming Poulsen again. Ratcliffe comes across, no foul, and a Welsh throw. We were talking at half-time about how well Wales were playing, how well they were containing the Danes. And that sucker punch just 5 minutes into the second half, nobody would have predicted, because more and more the Danes seemed unable to break down the Welsh defence.
And again we have Andy Jones warming up on the touchline. Perhaps it might be time to throw him on and risk everything. They've certainly got to think about it.
Ivan Nielsen, an offside against Preben Elkiar. Romanian linesman. It'll be a free kick to Wales. Kevin Ratcliffe, the Welsh captain, and Everton captain, 10 minutes into the second half. Towards David Phillips. Headed clear by Jensen. Wales have certainly had more of the possession since the Danes got that opening goal. Phillips. Nicholas. Hughes. Away by Poulsen. Poulsen looked pretty ineffective in the first game in Cardiff and was substituted eventually, but that run down the right that led to Elkiar's goal was anything but ineffective as Nicholas tries to set Wales away again. Rush losing out to Ivan Nielsen. Jesper Olsen. We all thought the danger in the second half would come from him down the left. In the end, it came from Poulsen down the right. Morten Olsen. Olsen wasn't ready for that one, so it'll be a throw to Ken Jackett. Olsen absolutely full of running. He's certainly injected a little bit of pace into the Danish team. Morten Olsen. Severbeck. Now it's the Danes' turn to slow it down, keep it cool, keep it calm. Laudrup, away by Van den Houw. There was a late tackle on Van den Houw by Laudrup there. The referee didn't see it. Jesper Olsen comes forward for Denmark. Van den Houw is up. Olsen goes for the return. Put forth for Poulsen, away by Jackett. Only as far as Jensen. Dangerous moments these for Wales. A second goal would be a bit of a disaster. Jesper Olsen towards Elkiar again. And it's all Van den Houw can do to clear it for a corner, but I think the referee has given offside against Jesper Olsen.
Yes, he has, but that was a lovely piece of magic by Jesper Olsen. Manchester United, of course, the Danes, who pick players from 6 countries in all corners of Western Europe. They really are, in every sense, an international side. Wales, of course, Terence, as you'll recall, were a goal down in Helsinki. Piatek, well, thoughtful as ever, but one of the top managers in Europe. He'll be happy that he's very relieved, I think, that he's got that 1-goal lead.
And they've got 33 minutes in which to either preserve that lead or build on it. A little bit of a ricochet, almost gave a chance to Rush. We've now got all the Welsh substitutes except goalkeeper Tony Norman lining up. Long-range effort by Phillips. Rasmussen just got back in time. Mike England, I think, has signalled his intentions. He's got 4 outfield substitutes limbering up on the touchline. Perhaps a little note to the players that are on the field to step it up a little bit. 12 minutes gone of the second half. Denmark lead Wales in this European Championship qualifying Group 6 match by 1-0. A goal by Preben Elkjær 5 minutes into the second half. Jensen to Morten Olsen. Soren Lerby. Per Freeman. Elkjær. Olsen beats 1 man, beats 2. He's got space. He's got Laudrup in the middle too. Lost the space, lost the initiative. And Nitzveski tied it up for Wales. Could have been a very dangerous moment indeed.
An ominous run by Poulsen, the substitute again. Pat van den Hauwe tidying things up for Wales. A test this of Welsh resilience. Terence, you'll recall they came from a goal down in Helsinki at the beginning of this competition. They came from a goal behind against the Czechs at Wrexham. So all is not lost yet.
But they certainly have a lot to do here at the Idretts Park as Denmark come forward again. They don't look inclined to lose possession at the moment. Lerby plays it wide to Jensen. Corner off Slatter. Still the Welsh substitutes run up and down the touchline, but there's no sign yet of any of them getting stripped off. As the corner comes over, cleared emphatically by Robbie James, but only as far as Morten Olsen to Jesper Olsen. Van den Hauwe, and away by Phillips. But the 2 lone men for Wales up front, Hughes and Rush, not getting much of a look in at the moment. That's not a bad ball by Poulsen, except that Elkjær was just standing at the bottom of your picture in an offside position. Again, a correct decision by the referee from Romania and the linesman.
It'll be very interesting to see what Mike England does. He's got 5 players on the bench, a goalkeeper, of course, 3 midfield players and a striker in Andy Jones, but no sign yet of any Welsh substitution.
Robbie James towards Rush. Ivan Nielsen sticking to him again like glue, finds Flemming Poulsen. Again, he's taking them all on down the right, plays it back this time to Morten Olsen. That's towards Elkjær. Well taken, Nitzveski. And a good first time kick too towards Rush. Only Hughes is with him. Robbie James looks for Jacket. That's a useful one by Ken Jacket. I think the crowd were caught a little bit by surprise, and if that had been a couple of yards to the right, it would have caught Troels Rasmussen a bit by surprise as well. Ken Jacket yet to score for Wales in an international match. This is his 28th appearance for his country. 16 minutes into the second half. There's activity that you can't see in the Welsh dugout area at the moment. It looked as though Glyn Hodges might be taking his tracksuit off. It looks now as though Andy Jones is. But I have to wait and see. They've all sat back down for the moment. Morten Olsen. Could be that Barry Horn comes on in a few minutes' time. He's the one who stayed on his feet and continues to limber up as Flemming Poulsen is allowed to play on by the referee. Elkiar's calling for it. That's a very delicate chip to Elkiar. Turns well, but there were just too many. There were some 5 Welsh players around him robbing him. And so far it's all revolved around that unlucky deflection in the Welsh defence 5 minutes into the second half that separates these two teams. Ian Rush, that's towards Dave Phillips. Jensen gets there first. As Peter Jackson was saying a few minutes ago, this a true test of Welsh mettle. Welsh pride, Welsh passion, Welsh ability. Can they get back into this game? That's towards Robbie James, headed clear by John Jensen to Jesper Olsen. Laudrup to Elkiar. What a dangerous combination they are. No offside against Flemming Poulsen. It was almost getting to him as well. Kevin Ratcliffe. And it looks as though it could be Glyn Hodges, who's the first Welsh substitute to appear. Mark Hughes towards Ken Jackett. Towards Rush. There's nobody in the middle for him. Phillips is at the far post. Oh, that took a deflection and could have crept in at Rasmussen's near post. Off Ivan Nielsen, but the goalkeeper was alive to it. Give him half a yard, Ian Rush, and he's probably the most dangerous striker in the world. Jesper Olsen. Been a bit quiet the first 17 or 18 minutes of this second half, but this man hasn't. Flemming Poulsen losing out that time. Nicholas to David Phillips. Lerby's the man with him. Good play by Lerby, but no, it's not a corner. It's off the corner flag for a throw-in. Phillips takes to Slatter. A little bit slow getting the cross in, but this time it is a corner. Wales first of the second half. Wales are not going to get all that many chances in the last 27 minutes of this game. They have to hope that they can capitalise on as many as possible. And it's going to be a straight club change, I think, Peter Jackson. One Watford man for another. Yes, the thinking behind Kenny Jackett's original selection was to anchor the left side of midfield, perhaps play it a bit more cautiously. Now, of course, Wales have to revise, change their thinking. Glyn Hodges, more of an attacking player, will come on any minute now to replace him. But not until this corner's been taken. And not a free header that was for Neil Slatter. And that could have been a little bit dangerous. Now Wales will make the substitution. But Neil Slatter, who's got 2 international goals for Wales, both in away matches in Saudi Arabia and their last away game, which was the first of these European Championship group matches in Helsinki about 13 months ago. And he could have done a little better with that. Should have got it on target. As Glyn Hodges shakes hands with his clubmate Ken Jackett and comes on to win his 7th cap for Wales. Only played 2 games for Watford since joining them and scored his first goal for them last week in a Littlewoods Cup 8-0 win over Darlington. He might find the opposition of a slightly higher standard this evening. In the last 25 minutes of this game, one of the best world teams of the 1980s, Denmark, and they're showing flashes of that brilliance tonight. They lead 1-0 with 25 minutes to go. Ivan Nielsen plays it back to Rasmussen. The substitution, no ill reflection on Kenny Jackett, simply that Wales have to change and go up a gear. Let's hope they can. Vanden Hauwe has time to control. Takes the return from Phillips. Tries to set Hughes away, but that's a throw into Denmark. David Phillips complaining to the referee about something. Perhaps a deflection, but the linesman right on the spot. Lerby leaves it for John Jensen. But that's now been awarded to Wales. It was a foul throw or taken from the wrong position. So a little bit of a gift for the Welsh. Slatter. Hughes. Sieverbeck's there, as always. Done a good marking job on Hughes. Hughes being watched tonight by Alex Ferguson of Manchester United. And there's a lot of speculation that he might be on his way to Bayern Munich very soon. But he hasn't had much of a chance to impress this evening. From the same position, Slatter. Again towards Hughes. Nicholas. Throw in this time to Denmark. For Wales, it's been a long story of near misses in major championships. They failed to qualify for the last 2 finals of the World Cup on goal difference, and for the 1984 European Championship finals in France by just 1 point. And although they still have another chance after this match here in Copenhagen, it will certainly put a different complexion altogether on the game against Czechoslovakia in Prague in 5 weeks' time, because Wales will have to win it. Glyn Hodges gets a touch on the ball, but it's cleared to John Jensen. It's 3 against 4 for Denmark. That's not a good ball, but he gets a second chance to find Olsen. Olsen slips again. He's done that more than once tonight. Per Freeman. He's got a lot of options. He's got 4 men with him. He's got Flemming Poulsen attacking down the left this time. That's towards Elkjær. Laudrup's there too. Cleared by Ratcliffe, only as far as Ivan Nielsen. Rush doing a bit of a marking job on Nielsen this time, and the Danes get a free kick. Looked a bit innocuous, that, but this situation may not be at all innocuous. 23 minutes to play. Taken to Ivan Nielsen. Ivan Nielsen has never scored a goal in 42 international games, 41 international games for Denmark, and you saw a glimpse there of why not. Eddie Niedzwiecki had a good game for Wales so far. Could do nothing about the Elkjær goal. Back by Jensen to Rasmussen. Phillips to Hughes. Good touch to Phillips again. Peter Nicholas. There's space on the right for Robbie James if he can find him, which he does. Tries to go outside Jensen. Got it across well. Morten Olsen cut it out. Michael Laudrup. Brought down, was he? Yes, he was, by Clayton Blackmore. And even though the Danes continue to go forward, the referee has got to bring them back 2/3 of the length of the field. Little bit unfortunate that. There was certainly a Danish advantage, but the referee had already blown the whistle.
A second Welsh substitution may be imminent. Andy Jones has been going through an awful lot of stretching exercise in the last couple of minutes. Here we see that incident again. No question there that that was late.
It'll be interesting to see who comes off. If Andy Jones does come on, will it be Mark Hughes perhaps, or will Mike England have one last desperate gamble and have 3 men up front in Jones, Hughes and Rush? We shall see. If I remember rightly, that's what he did in April at the racecourse when Wales were struggling to get back in the game against Czechoslovakia.
Hello.
Kevin Ratcliffe. Flick on by Rush. Clearance by Morten Olsen. Blackmore. Could be danger. Rush. Hughes. Rush is there. What a good save by Rasmussen. The first real moment of panic in the Danish defence, and Wales could and should have equalised there right out of the blue. Rush and Hughes were in the thick of it.
Here we can see it again, and Wales have never been closer to a goal than this, and they never will be without scoring. Really, I think that one should have been in. Rasmussen makes the initial mistake. Hughes is a bit unlucky with the bounce, and the goalkeeper's very lucky and very grateful.
Per Freeman. Flemming Poulsen. There's an offside against Elkjær. So we've got 19 minutes of this game left. Wales trying to get the ball back from Elkjær as soon as possible, get it back in play as quickly as possible, which they do through Peter Nicholas. They trail 1-0. It's certainly not all over if they lose this match 1-0, but it will make their job much, much harder in Prague next month. Because if they do lose this one, they will have to win that one, and that is no easy task, judging on the performance of the Czechs in the racecourse back in April of this year, when they really did outplay Wales, and Wales were lucky to get a 1-1 draw. Since then, of course, Czechoslovakia have lost 3-0 in Finland, as Wales prepare to make a second substitution. But the ball's in play, so it'll have to wait for a second. Poulsen. Lerby. He's transformed this game quietly, has Flemming Poulsen, as Lerby sets Laudrup away. Jesper Olsen. There's danger. Lerby's in the middle. Ratcliffe just got the touch, only as far as Freeman. And the back pass by Nicholas just found Niedzwiecki.
Bit of carelessness there by Glyn Hodges. I think you may well find that Robbie James will be the player to come off to make way for Andy Jones. A desperate gamble by Wales, but a desperate situation demands desperate measures. And here's the result of that carelessness. In fact, he came back from one of his own players. No problem for Nedvesky.
And at the other end, it's now a free kick to Wales. What can they manufacture here? Still, the linesman attempts to draw the attention of the referee to the substitution. It will be Robbie James coming off. Ian Rush waiting to see what's going to happen. Glyn Hodges, the first Wales substitute, is the man on the ball. And Robbie James, making his 46th appearance for Wales, shakes hands with Andy Jones. Very much a youngster in comparison. This his 4th cap and his 3rd as substitute. Glyn Hodges. That's danger. Oh! What a dangerous situation that for Denmark. It was Mark Hughes on the end of it. Wales now with 3 men up front, and it's all getting much looser at both ends. The next goal could be the decider. Laudrup. That's off Blackmore, I think, for a corner. It's all getting very open.
We really do have a match on our hands now. That incident just a few minutes ago with that Hughes header, it was John Severbeck hurling himself across. I think a rather fortuitous blockage, but one nonetheless, and that's really saved Denmark.
And then immediately at the other end, the Danes looking dangerous as Jesper Olsen takes the corner towards Elkiar, headed clear by Ratcliffe. Took a knock in the face there. Accidental one, Lerby. Olsen. Robbed by Slatter. Rush. First touch for Andy Jones. Now a first division player, of course, with Charlton for the last few weeks. Peter Nicholas. That's not a bad ball, that, towards Neil Slatter. Could and should have made a little bit more ground to it and kept it in. Failed to do so. And as the legs tire and the emotion and atmosphere of this packed stadium at Idritz Park begin to get to these players, we're going to see more and more mistakes at both ends. And that was a good bit of goalkeeping by Preben Elkiar. Unfortunately, he was almost on the halfway line when he did it. So that's a free kick to Wales. He looks a bit tired. He's got the goal that matters so far, the goal that separates these two teams as we approach the half-an-hour mark in the second half. Kevin Ratcliffe. Elkiar, Ratcliffe. Here's a chance for Poulsen. He's fast. He's robbed by Blackmore, but it's picked up again by Laudrup. Elkiar's offside. The referee saw that. Good save by Nedvesky nonetheless. Preben Elkiar, the Italian league's leading goal scorer at the moment. That is no easy feat. He's got 8 goals in league and cup so far. Mark Hughes, a little glimmer of a chance. Phillips, can he get there? Ivan Nielsen cuts it out. Denmark looking a little bit stretched at the back in the last few minutes a couple of times. Good play though by Nielsen to Olsen. Good play to Jensen. Per Freeman. He's got 4 men in support of him. Jensen. Wales looking a bit stretched. The midfielders not coming back as quickly as they were. It's a penalty. Pat van den Hauwe has brought him down. There have been so many occasions in the past where penalties deprive Wales, controversial ones. Van den Hauwe sides in with the tackle. Was it a penalty, Peter Jackson?
Oh yes, I've no doubt that was a penalty. I think you can see here that Van den Hauwe goes right across him. Yes, I think that's a penalty, all right. No protest significantly from Wales. Wales, in fact, we were just saying before the game, this is their 50th match without being awarded a penalty. And here they are once again, having to have one against them.
And it's the man who got the first, hoping to get the second. Preben Elkiar. He's missed it! A lifeline for Wales. Wales are still in this match. Elkiar is distraught. And what a dreadful penalty.
Quite one of the worst I've seen, Terence, but I'm extremely grateful that he did it. Smashing it high, wide, and not very handsome. Here we can see it again. He's driving it to Eddie Nedvesky's left. There it goes, safely over the bar. Would have been great in rugby, but not much good to Denmark tonight.
And if I was to say that Eddie Niedzwiecki was always going to save it, it would be a little bit of a white lie. So Wales still in with a chance. 32 minutes of the second half gone. Elchiar has missed that penalty, but still Wales trail. That goal 5 minutes into the second half by the same man. Elchiar of Verona separates the two sides as Wales come forward. Andy Jones, but it'll all come back for a foul by Ian Rush on John Sieverbeck. So the excitement building at both ends with 13 minutes to play. Soren Lerby. Jensen, the man who was brought down for the foul that led to the penalty that was missed by Elchiar. Ratcliffe. Jones, yet to make an impact. In a tussle with Freeman. Brushes him off nicely to the other Welsh substitute, Glyn Hodges. Ivan Nielsen. Morten Olsen. Under pressure from Hughes. Blackmore gets a touch. Only as far as Per Freeman. Beats off the tackle of Nicholas. Michael Laudrup. Towards Elchiar. Too long for him. Pat Van den Houw. Blackmore. Van den Houw again. There's a lot of passion and an enormous amount of tension here in Copenhagen. It's all still to play for. Denmark still with a lifeline for West Germany next summer if they can win this one. Wales, well, if they can snatch a goal back. There's Sepp Piontek. I thought I saw beads of sweat on his brow, and it's not that sort of evening. And if Wales can snatch a draw, they will be the hot favourites. That is how close it is. With just over 11 minutes of this match to play. Peter Nicholas. There's a couple of slips, Rush and Nielsen. But he hasn't made a single mistake this evening as Ivan Nielsen. He's been as solid as a rock. One of the Danish TV commentators was saying to me this morning, you'll recognise Ivan Nielsen, no problem. He looks like a tower. And he's certainly been immovable this evening. Jesper Olsen. Clayton Blackmore. Andy Jones. Wales with quite a lot of men forward. Blackmore. All the space being closed down at the moment. It's not easy for Per Freeman, but he was being fouled by Mark Hughes. So Wales lose the opportunity to push forward again.
It won't be much consolation to Wales at the moment, but the Danes did want to win this game by 3 goals. If they'd done that, they would, or they will, eliminate the possibility of Wales catching them on goal difference were Wales to win in Prague next month.
I wouldn't have thought that we'll get a final score of 3 goal difference one way or the other. And the official attendance just handed to me 44,500. Just a few hundred below the nighttime capacity of this stadium, but we would certainly be justified in saying it's a sellout crowd, sellout atmosphere. Such an important match. Flemming Poulsen. There's a lot of room for John Sieverbeck. Poulsen's making the run. Completely different player from the one we saw in the first half in Cardiff 5 weeks ago. Wins the corner. Denmark have won 13 of those in this match to Wales's 2, and they've had pretty much the territorial advantage. It's just so frustrating for Wales and for Mike England that the one goal that separates them was such a scrappy affair and really wasn't justified on the level of on the balance of play at the time. We've got 2 balls on the field at the moment. The old ones come back. Neil Slatter has hacked it away. Per Freeman poised to take the corner. No problem there for Eddie Niedzwiecki. One of the most positive aspects of this game this evening has been his performance. Done everything that could be asked of him. Ian Rush. Hughes. Rush brought down by a late tackle, but Hughes plays on. He made Rasmussen stretch.
Rush very angry there with Nielsen, his marker, rightly so. Nasty foul. The referee didn't give it. I thought he must have seen it. Rush right to be aggrieved.
Jesper Olsen. That's one that'll make Freeman stretch his legs. Per Freeman of Anderlecht to Flemming Poulsen. of Cologne. It's a throw-in. 8 minutes of the game to go. Wales trail 1-0. Another throw to Denmark. They'll be quite happy with this. Danish trainer on his feet, Flemming Poulsen. He's got it in. Nisveski was quick. Sepp Piontek, the Danish manager, obviously rates this as the most important match of his managerial career. He had the players out training this morning, which is the first time apparently that he's ever done that on a match day, as Andy Jones tries to get it across and wins the corner off Morten Olsen. And there is Sepp Piontek. Looks as though he might be about to make another substitution. The tension rising for him, the tension rising for 45,000 other people in this stadium, with 7 minutes to go as Wales take the corner. Phillips. Rasmussen's there. 2 men jump with him, but here's a chance of a break for Michael Laudrup. He's got Elkjær up with him and Poulsen. Poulsen's the man furthest forward. That's who it's aimed at, but Eddie Nisveski was alive to it. It was too close to him.
For once, a mistake by Poulsen, but no doubting that the Danish substitution, Poulsen's appearance instead of Lerby, has had a far greater influence on this match than either of the Welsh substitutions so far.
Mark Hughes, can he set Phillips away on the right? Yes, he does. There's a lot of room for him too. The little chip over Rasmussen's head towards Andy Jones. Rush! Phillips is still there. Rush again. And they hack it clear. Peter Nicholas. Good play, good control. Hasn't scored a goal for Wales for 5 years, and Morten Olsen denies him that time. 6 minutes to go, and Wales have not given up. They nearly created something there. It'll be Lars Olsen, who is an out-and-out defender, who will be coming on in a few minutes as substitute for Denmark. They're going to want to hold on to this 1-0 lead. Oh, Jesper Olsen almost getting Elkjær away. Blackmore cutting it out. It's all down to nerves now. Into the last 6 minutes. Ratcliffe pushing forward, taking the return from Hughes. To Phillips. Slatters on the overlap. Phillips tries a pot shot, just wide. Wales are pummeling this Danish goal now. David Phillips, worth a try from that range, just 18 or 19 yards out.
Phillips wondering there what might have been. He wasn't very far wide, and certainly a fright for Rasmussen. But that's what Wales have got to do now. It's got to be hit and hope.
And Lars
Olsen coming on, Terence, so it looks as though the Danes are going to settle for what they've got.
It certainly does. It's Michael Laudrup, the man who's gone off. And Lars Olsen, a defender, is on and right straight away in the heart of that Danish defence. Glyn Hodges. And there's a first touch for Olsen. Good one too. To Soren Lerby. Jesper Olsen. Nice chip to Lerby. Olsen losing out that time. Ivan Nielsen. John Jensen. A long and hopeful one only finds Clayton Blackmore. You can see the clock ticking by, seconds ticking away. Less than 5 minutes for Wales to get an equaliser that, it must be said, they have come very close to a couple of times in this second half. David Phillips. It's all down to instinct now. A long throw from Phillips. Rush is at the near post. Andy Jones is there. Mark Hughes, the three front men, all in the penalty area. Rush. Nicholas towards Hughes. Too close to Rasmussen, though. 4 minutes to go. Denmark 1, Wales 0. If it stays like this, Wales will have to win their last match in Prague to qualify for the European Championship finals in West Germany next summer. And Denmark will have to wait on the result of that one.
They will explain.
Because if Wales don't win it, then Denmark will be the team in the finals next summer. They got to the semi-finals 3 years ago now, as Soren Lerby comes away. That's a long one towards Olsen. The cross header, not good enough. Vanden Hauw clears for Wales to Andy Jones. Rush. Foul on Rush. Wants to take it quickly. Morten Olsen won't allow him to.
If it stays like this, Terence, the only certainty is that Czechoslovakia are out. The only result that could keep them in here was a draw tonight.
And their manager, Josef Mazopust, is here. He certainly won't have been happy to see that goal by Preben Elkjær go in. Elkjær again. Yes, if Denmark win this, it's all down to Denmark and Wales and what Wales can do in Czechoslovakia on November the 11th in 4 weeks' time. Glyn Hodges. Clayton Blackmore. Mark Hughes. Lars Olsen. Jesper Olsen. To Preben Elkjær. Wales don't want to give a second one away now. Elkjær setting himself up. But the Welsh defence doing well there. Neil Slatter and Ritzveski was watching it all the way too. 2.25 minutes to go at normal time. Preben Elkjær trying to get himself into a position. Slatter was marking him well. And Ritzveski had it covered at the near post. Jesper Olsen. Lars Olsen. Morten Olsen. A trio of Olsens. 2 minutes to play. Phillips. Mark Hughes. Good ball to Andy Jones. Wales need to push men forward into the penalty area now. Andy Jones losing out to John Jensen. Jensen didn't like the challenge. The referee said, it's a Danish ball. Let's get on with it. Advantage. Play on. Rasmussen to Morten Olsen. Lerby trying to find Jesper Olsen. Vanden Hauwe, though, finds Slatter to Phillips. As the minutes tick by, Wales have less and less opportunity to get back into it. Neil Slatter, 1.25 minutes. Ratcliffe. He's fast as Ratcliffe. He's still going as Ratcliffe, and Rasmussen had to be quick to cut it out. Not often you see Kevin Ratcliffe as far forward as that. But he's given his all tonight, as have all the Welsh players. Mike England was saying yesterday, if they've given 100%, he can ask no more. And just that one, I think it's fair to describe it as an unlucky goal, separates the teams at the moment. As we enter the final 45 seconds of normal time here at the Idrits Park. Flick on by Andy Jones. Clearance by Morten Olsen. Siverbeck. Ratcliffe. Andy Jones didn't bounce for him. We're not far from injury time now. This 45,000 crowd beginning to warm to the fact that they are still in with a chance. The referee's already looked at his watch. We're in the dying seconds. Glyn Hodges, one of the Welsh substitutes, almost giving Poulsen a gift. Again, the referee looks at his watch. His whistle is to his lips, and it's all over. The Danes are going wild. Wales